Okay, I want to talk about some recent silent film sets that are coming out on Blu-ray because guys, we are like, bro, we're living it up. Okay, I remember when there's a few companies. There's Flicker Alley, Classic Flicks, um, Kid Parker Films, Sprocket Vault. I don't know which is which. Um, one of those companies. I think it's like an association kind of a thing. They're releasing some great stuff. Um, a lot of classic comedies are being preserved, not just silence, but talkies as well. And these are like not. This isn't Paramount. This isn't MGM. It's fans coming in and doing this stuff, which is awesome. Okay, because we get high quality releases that a fan would like. Um, I was first aware of this happening. Like we're living in a okay. I've said this before. We're living in a great time for physical media. There's a okay. We're getting a lot of complete series releases from officially from companies. Regular Show just got released as a good example in the States, but the packaging sucks. Very, very as cheap as they can make it, which I'll take. Okay, I'm going to replace the packaging that literally breaks your discs that they give these complete series releases into, but at least we're getting them. We're living in a great time for physical media. Okay. Um, third party labels, they're releasing a lot of good stuff. So we're getting these films are going into the public domain. A lot of these films, so we're getting a lot of good silent comedies. Not a lot of these are in the public domain, but for silent film fans, okay, I got first introduced to this golden era, I guess you could say. Lack of not really, but like maybe we'll see if that's the case. For silent comedies getting released onto physical media and comedies being preserved properly better than they ever have before. Classic flicks. They released The Little Rascals, as they call it. I call it Our Gang. I've always called it Our Gang ever since I was a kid. But Our Gang, they released the talkies, and then which was great, preserved them well digitally, not physically preserved. I mean, they're physical releases, but the film itself were not preserved. It is digital cleanup, but the uh, they released those, and then they started doing the silence. So that would be this set here. So they released the talkies, the Our Gang comedies got. They were silence originally, started in 1922, ended in 1944, but um, this was great. Okay, Our Gang getting released on Blu-ray in general, but like this silent set, because dude, when I was watching these, like I still have a lot of my old silent prints, but I'd add my own music and try to gather the best materials and put them together and make my own print because these things were not preserved at all, bro. Like at all. It's like crazy. I mean, some of the later ones were from like maybe 1927, 1928. But these earliest ones, like 1922, 1923, no. Okay, we got nothing. Um, the prints I have of these film, I have some prints, 16 millimeter prints. They're better quality than a lot of what you find on YouTube. I mean, some of these films are in rough shape, and that's how we watched them because that was the only way to do it. Now we're getting this. They announced a second volume. You see, this is volume 1. They announced a second volume. But here you got Sunshine Sammy on the cover, and you got Jackie, and this is great. This doesn't have all the films from 19. I think it has all of them from 1922. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's missing one, maybe. I don't know. It's been a while since I've really had a. It's been a while since I've had the filmography in my head, and it has some from 1923. There you go. I think it's missing 2 films, maybe 1. I don't know. It doesn't have everything here. The explanation they gave, Classic Flicks put this out. was that some of them were just in too bad of quality to restore. That shows you how messed up some of these films were, and it's amazing they're finally being preserved. Especially something like Our Gang, that's had such an impact on so many people still to this day. Rich history, but this is great. So you got Mickey Daniels. I made a documentary about the guy. I mean, this kid was great. So this set came out, and they announced a volume 2. Looking forward to that. This poster is from One Terrible Day, which was the first film released in the series. It wasn't the first one made. Of course, it's very common for release order to be different from production order, but generally release order is how it's meant to be seen. Clearly, with Our Gang, it wasn't in terms of the first film release, which is this one. But inside this, and this is in rough shape. This case broke. This is trouble with shipping, but you got a film list on the inside. You got the beautiful disc. It's a miracle that we got this. We're so lucky today. Um, here you go. And this is, like I said, this is a great set. So I'll take the shorts on here. We got Our Gang, the first film, which I remember when this film was like a 12-minute version. It's not the full film, of course, but it's got most of it. Our Gang, that was a really rare film for a long, long time. Our Gang, the first film in the series. We got Firefighters, great, excuse me, very foundational film. Young Sherlocks, that's a fantastic story in general, man. One Terrible Day, A Saturday Morning, that used to be one of my favorites. The Big Show, The Cobbler, and The Champion. The Champion, that holds up, that film. That's one of the greatest Our Gang comedies ever made. Prove me wrong. Let's debate. Yeah, so we got this set. Awesome. I'm so glad this came out. Getting Our Gang on Blu-ray was such a long process. Getting the Silence on DVD never really happened. I mean, there were silent sets, but having a complete collection or one actually made with care, very rarely done. In the States, it wasn't done at all. There were some German sets that were pretty good for that, but that was a later ones. Then they came out with Charlie Chase. I remember waiting for this to come out. Very excited for it. I have all the other Charlie Chase sets. Again, if you're familiar with the channel, you know that I love this guy. I think he's the fourth genius. Okay, lump him in there with Chase or with Chaplin and Keaton and Lloyd. These are some of Charlie Chase's best films ever made. If you're gonna get a single Charlie Chase DVD on a budget, this is the one you want to get. It's amazing. This is on Blu-ray, guys. A silent comedy on Blu-ray, okay? Only a fan's gonna make that. Like, you're not gonna have a company's gonna put it out on DVD. Okay, they're gonna present it as a historical look. Films used to be silent. No, these guys are presenting, these companies here, that are doing this stuff, they're presenting it as an art form, and that's how it should be. Okay, here's the thing about silent film: it's not dated, man. It's an art form just like any other. The silent films that exist are dated because they were made in the past. But silent film as an art form, visual, okay? Music, live, that is still just as relevant as ever. And I think it's the most cinematic you can get with a film, okay? Bro, like take me to court, okay? Seriously, the most cinematic you can get is a silent film done right, okay? I really hope with things like this, people are going to start realizing that, because a lot of people see silent film as just a sort of thing of the past and not an actual art form. But the films on here are great. Most of them are directed by Charlie Chase's brother, who was a fantastic director. Oh my gosh. The brothers were great, very creative. Charlie himself, I've talked to him, talked to you about him on the channel. He was a jack of all trades. His directing style, there wasn't anything in particular that was really different from other directors, but he was fast. He was a fast director. If you need something done, man, get Charlie on the case. And then you compare to his brother, and he was the perfect guy to direct these. Charlie had such a situational style. Him and Leo McCarey developed it. Charlie's brother, Paul, was the perfect guy to direct that. He directed a lot of the Laurel and Hardys. Um, and dude, like his shots are amazing. His brothers, this is the brothers working together, man, on this set. But you got a lot of good stuff. Some of Charlie Chase's best films in here. Made with Love, bro. These all have commentaries, by the way. Well, I don't know about I don't think this one has commentaries. I can't. Yeah, this doesn't have commentaries. Classic Flicks is definitely like the cheapest one to afford, which makes sense. There's not generally many special features on these things, which is great. Like, I mean, yeah, I love special features, but that drives the price up. So these, whenever Classic Flicks has a release, you can bet it's going to be the cheapest out of like all these companies I'm talking about. But Kit Parker Films, Sprocket Vault, they put this out. I hope they do more of this stuff. They did the talkies of this guy, but these are great. Lots of rare comedies that haven't been seen by the general public in decades, man. If you want to see how sitcoms, the formulas, and how they got started, check this out. This is one of the best silent comedy sets ever. Yeah, I'm saying it. I think it's the best out of all these. Okay, in terms of the films that are in here, they hold up the most out of all these. I'm saying, I'm telling you, man, I'm telling you, to me. But yeah, this is a great set. I was waiting for this for so long, and then as soon as I saw it was available, I snatched it up. It has one film. This says 1927 Silence, but it has one film from 1926. There Ain't No Santa Claus. Apparently, I was listening to the commentary. Apparently, people were complaining about that, which is wild to me. I mean, I can understand, it being sort of an OCD thing, but it's another film, whatever. All right. Laurel and Hardy, year one. I didn't get this when it came out. I think I got it a year later, year and a half later, year later, after it came out. I was never a big Laurel and Hardy guy. As a matter of fact, I liked Thelma Todd and Zazu Pitts. And Thelma Todd and Patsy, I saw them first, and I liked them more than Laurel and Hardy. If you don't know, they were at the same studio as Laurel and Hardy, Hal Roach, and they were seen as a female equivalent to Laurel and Hardy. And they're generally seen as not as good, but I loved them. Okay, funny girls, man, funny females. So Laurel and Hardy, I was never too big on. But that's because I wasn't watching the silence, dude. Dude, Laurel and Hardy's silence are like so much better than their talkies to me. They're not dragged down, but there's too much dialogue in the talkies, and even when there's not, it's not the slow pacing that's a problem. I think that worked for Laurel and Hardy. People complain about that, but it's I don't know, man. These guys worked as silent film comedians. No one seems to agree with me on that. But dude, the Laurel and Hardy silence, like greatest silent comedies ever made, probably. Funniest, hold up. So this is year one, 1927 Silence. Flickr Alley put this out. Great set. 40 bucks, 45 bucks. How much it was when it came out. You could probably get it for a little, maybe 10 bucks cheaper these days. But this is a love letter to Laurel and Hardy. I've been learning a lot about these guys from these sets because I didn't have much experience. I mean, this set, when did this set come out? These are all like recent, like 2023 being the earliest. When did it come out? 2023. This was, I want to say this was 2025, 2024. And then the Little Rascals was 2024. Yeah, I mean, not even like a year ago, or yeah, a year ago, like a year and a half ago, 2 years maybe. I didn't really know much about Laurel and Hardy, but comes with like a great book. Okay, like this could be its own separate book. Lots of words, man. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? I mean, this is just as comprehensive and as information based as this book. This isn't Laurel and Hardy. This is Our Gang. But you get a lot of words. Okay. It's the same with this here, man. They did not need to go this all out, but their fans, literally over half of this book is just facts and meet the crew, you know, who made Laurel and Hardy, and bro, it's amazing. So it goes through all, and not only is it a filmography of the films in the set, it's a filmography of Laurel and Hardy in general. Look at that beautiful picture from Putting Pants on Philip. I'm glad I got this set, man, because it opened me up to good Laurel and Hardy. Hats off. This film is not in the set, and they included it in here because they wanted to have a filmography of Laurel and Hardy. I mean, this is an education right here. What can I say? Like, I could not recommend these sets enough. You got beautiful posters, and these are 2-disc sets. Laurel and Hardy year 1, and then they came out with year 2. When was this? 2024. Okay, so I remember watching the ad for this when it came out because I was excited because I had bought year 1 and I'm like, Laurel and Hardy Silents are good, man. And then I saw this and I'm like, wow, these look even better. And they were. This is peak silent comedy right here. Like, they were really, really perfecting it. Laurel and Hardy are such great performers. I laughed out loud. I don't laugh out loud easily, guys. I mean, I do if I'm like directing or something, just because I laugh at stupid stuff. But like things that are like trying to be funny, like comedies, no, I just don't laugh at them. I laughed out loud at these several times. There was one in particular. What was it? Hebus Corpus. This film right here. I laughed out loud like 5 times, man. Where is it? Where are we going here? Where are we? There, right there. Again, this book is just as good as the last one. 2-disc set. But yeah, I watched the ad over and over for this. Like, ooh, I wonder what that film is. And I didn't want to watch them on YouTube, you know. Wanted to wait till the set came out. And man, we're living in a great. So 2025, we haven't had one yet. Laurel and Hardy year 3 is coming. It's available for pre-order if you want to order that. But guys, this is such a step in the right direction for comedy, man. I mean, film history. This stuff. These are Blu-rays. 5 years ago, we didn't have these on Blu-ray at all. We had some of these on DVD. All of these films had not been released onto DVD. This is the first time we've had these films on anything other than film. But most people don't collect film. Some of these films were available. Some of these films were available. None of these films were available except The Champion, The Big Show, and One Terrible Day. I think that was it, man. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. My faint memory. Blu-rays, guys. Like, I can't stress enough how amazing this is. We are getting silent, flippin' comedies 100 years ago on Blu-ray in a collector's. It's not collector's edition, but you get what I'm saying, right? Like, good sets. Like, these are not this isn't a sloppy release by Paramount. Okay, this is legit. This is the real deal, the ultimate. I don't know if these things are selling well. Actually, I know these are. Actually, the classic flicks Our Gang talkies actually went out of print, and so they re-released them. Um, these films had not been preserved. Most of these films, these haven't been preserved. These have, but not in a good not in a good actual way. Like they just whatever print they have, throw it on a DVD, call it Laurel and Hardy Silence Volume 2 or Lost Films Volume 2, whatever. Um, guys, this is incredible. I mean, I really am shocked that we're getting this. We're getting silent comedies. Silent comedies that had never been preserved for the most part. Proper preservation, at least for audiences, the actual film prints, I don't think most of those are actually being preserved, which is a problem, but at least we're getting them here, right? For the public at an affordable price. These are the most expensive. 45 bucks, I think, is the starting for these. And this, what, like 10 films each? I think this had 10 films. This had 13. But, if you're buying this stuff, you're probably a fan, so it's not going to be a problem. Um, go for the classic flicks and Sprocket Vault Kit Parker film. These are cheaper. I think this was 22 bucks. Maybe 19 bucks. This had a DVD version as well. I got the Blu-ray, but guys, like, I'm amazed, man. Seriously, we are getting great silent films out. It's a perfect time to discover this stuff, man. These are not what you'd see in school, where you have scratched prints of A Trip to the Moon or a 3-minute segment of City Lights, Charlie Chaplin. This isn't with like a overly comic score. This is legit. Orchestrated. Well, I think this was mostly piano. This was piano. Orchestrated music, as it should be, right? I can't gush enough about this. Buy this stuff. Buy this stuff. Show these companies support. Film history is on our shelves now. And it wasn't before. I mean, it was, but like, I don't know how to word things, I realize. But this is amazing, guys. I wanted to gush about this. Peace out. Wait, I gotta finish my coffee first. You can't just think. All right. Deuces.